Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood. Tim is a retirement and income specialist, certified financial fiduciary, and the founder of SafeMoneyRetirement.com. Tim primarily serves Western North Carolina, East Tennessee, and Southwest Virginia, but he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Wood is a licensed life insurance professional in multiple states and specializes in working with people who are near retirement and those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies using life, health, long-term care, and annuity insurance products. And now, here to talk with you about securing your retirement, your host, Tim Wood.
Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show. I'm Tim Wood, an asset and retirement protection and guaranteed income specialist. For almost a year now, my listeners have heard me talk about the RISA. It's the Retirement Income Style Awareness Assessment. And essentially what it is, it's almost like one of those personality profiles, like the DISC profile, or there's a bunch of other ones out there that will allow you to figure out what might be a good career for you or might be, good for your love life or whatever they're for. This one is the first one that's made specifically for retirement income. So filling this out is going to give you a good roadmap for what's going to bring you happiness in retirement as far as how you receive your income based on your specific personality. Now, what I want to talk about today is why it's important for both spouses to do the RISA individually and separately, so then we can look at that together. Because each spouse is going to have their own opinion, and obviously we need to keep each spouse happy in retirement. So we're going to discuss that. First, real quick, you hear me talk about it every week. If you don't already have your copy of my book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, please get your own copy right now. Completely free, no obligation. Log on to our website, safemoneyretirement.com, or just give us a call, 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Now, why is it so important for both spouses to do the RISA survey? Well, again, because there are multiple different facets in the RISA. Like the very first thing it's going to come up with, your main result is your primary retirement income style. And there are 4 choices, and then there's actually subcategories in each choice, but we don't have time to get into that. But for example, the 4 main choices are protected income, time segmentation, total return approach, and risk wrap. Well, as you can imagine, each one of those 4 has its own way that people like to have income. If you're in protected income, you like your income one way. If you're in time segmentation, you like it another way. Each one has its own way, and being able to see that maybe the wife comes in as protected income, but the husband comes in as total return approach, when we're making an overall plan, because I like to look at things holistically. So when we're making an overall plan, we can plan for that. Well, how those two would marry together, protected income, that's what the wife wants. So let's make sure first that we've got enough protected income, that you know that you're going to have enough income for the rest of your life. But then for the husband that wants the total return approach, anything after we get done with the income plan, we can make sure is in a growth plan. So you're getting that return. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. And if someone's in time segmentation and the other person in risk wrap, well, time segmentation is nothing other than someone that likes to have things planned out. So for example, someone that likes to do laddering of CDs or MIGAs or things like that, or different plans that this is going to happen in 2 years, and then 2 years after that, this is going to happen, or whatever. We can marry that with someone that likes risk wrap, which risk wrap is nothing more than someone that still likes the return, but wants to make sure that they basically wrap that risk so it's minimal and it's minimized so you don't have to worry about losing everything. Well, we can marry those two together the way that we plan it. So all of these different things that come up from the RISA, they're going to be different for each spouse. Now, occasionally, is there going to be, something that overlaps in one of these different sections? Of course. But knowing what it's going to be for the husband and the wife, it's going to allow us to be able to make sure that we're hitting basically both clients with something that's going to work for them. The next thing it comes up with is the financial implementation matrix. Now, what that is, that actually talks about how do you like working with an advisor? And there's delegator, there's validator, there's collaborator, and there's self-directed. Again, we don't have time to go into the weeds on each and every one of these, but all of these different things, once we know what that is, when when we've got the results and we're sitting down and talking, whether that's in person or over Zoom or over FaceTime or whatever, once we know, okay, well, Mr. Jones is a delegator, but Mrs. Jones is a validator. Okay, great. Well, we now know exactly how we need to work together to make sure that it fits both of their personalities. There's a lot of other things that come in. There's front loading versus back loading, which y'all have heard me talk about this before. Actually, I'm going to take just a second and talk about it because it's kind of a big deal that people don't really think about. A front loaded retirement is a retirement where you are planning on spending most of your money within the first few years of retirement. So you've heard me talk about the go-go years. So once you retire and you can go on that trip to Ireland or go on that world cruise or whatever you've always wanted to do, that's the go-go years. And if that's how you're planning on living, then you've got more of a front-loaded retirement plan. And we can make sure that we plan for that. Again, all this is to make sure that the plan is specific to you. Backloaded is the exact opposite. We're not planning on doing a whole lot after retirement as far as needing income, but we want to make sure we've got plenty of income in case there's a long-term care situation, in case one of us happens to pass, and you want more of a backloaded. So there's those things in there. There's accumulation versus distribution, time-based versus perpetuity, technical liquidity versus true liquidity. There's a lot of different sections in the RISA that you will find out, again, just by going to our website, safemoneyretirement.com. There's a RISA tab. Click on it, and it takes about 15 minutes. It's super simple. It's really going to help you define what's going to help you create happiness for yourself based on your personality, based on what's going to work for you. And again, why I really want both spouses to do this is because obviously both spouses need to be involved in the planning process. Because sooner or later, one of those spouses is going to be gone, right? And once that happens, we need to make sure that the other spouse is happy as well. So having all of this information from both spouses when we sit down, it is absolutely invaluable because it allows us then to make a plan that's going to hit on those bullet points for both members of the family and allow us to create a plan that brings that sense of happiness and things are the way I want it. For example, protected income is exactly what it sounds like. Someone that is in protected income wants to make sure they've got enough income for the rest of their life. That is their main motivator. Well, if you marry that up with one of the other, the time segmentation or the total return or the risk wrap, we can do that. But knowing what those are that's an absolute invaluable thing to have in front of us when we are making a long-term plan. Because again, that's the biggest change is you've been accumulating wealth your whole life, but then making that change from accumulation to distribution, it's a huge deal. And having this insight will allow us to make sure that your plan is the best for you. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulate while reducing exposure to market loss. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Tim Wood reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
You've been listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood. Find out how to contractually guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe from market losses and that you have an income you can't outlive so you can have the retirement that you deserve. Call Tim Wood now for your complimentary Safe Money Retirement book and information kit at 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Or request your copy of Tim's book online at safemoneyretirement.com. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you are just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.